let's get on to Mal's topic. What you got for us tonight?
Well, back in July, Final Fantasy XII's remaster came out.
We're talking about it a month later, almost 2 months.
Yep.
Hey, better late than never.
10 years after the first game.
Right. Well, more actually.
Yeah, 11.
It came out in 2006.
It's like November or October.
Tail end of the PlayStation. Actually, I think it was March 2006.
No, it was like the fall.
Or was it?
I remember because it was my first year of college, and I skipped class to go get it and play it.
Let's find out when it came out.
March 16th. 2 days.
There you go.
Yep.
What? Was that Japan?
No,
March 16th,
World
nope.
or wait.
I can swear
yes.
it was fall.
It was.
It was.
It was.
It made me think it was worldwide because it just had one date.
Yeah, it's got show. We were October 31st.
Yep. Okay.
Hey, I nailed it then. October.
It came out like
on
right
Halloween.
around the same time as the PS3. So it had some stuff going against it.
Yeah.
People weren't too happy with this one. I love 12 though.
I think a lot of people weren't happy with it specifically because
Plus,
of
I
Vaughn
think
and
it's
his sister.
aged amazingly compared to like some older games.
I'm going to disagree with you, but keep going. We'll
You
talk
don't
about
think
it
so?
in a little bit. We'll talk about it in a little bit. I'll give you my reasons why.
Well, they tried a lot of new things that just became a lot more prevalent in like Japanese RPGs now. No more like screen shatter and go into row-based, turn-based combat. It's
Yeah.
still sort of turn-based, or it has like the timer fills up, but it's all open world. Big areas, though it's not all. I mean, it's not true open world because you have to go to a new area and it loads up. But it's the first one that lets you explore all over, and there's no like world map that you travel on. But in this one, they redid the soundtrack with a full orchestra.
Yeah,
Though
that's
they have
great.
the option. Yeah, you can switch between the original and old, but yeah, it sounds great.
Why would you switch back?
I was
Right?
gonna say, yeah. Why would you?
I don't know.
This
Why
music was
on
literally
earth?
designed. The music was almost like literally designed to be done by a full orchestra.
Exactly.
Why would you switch back?
And
Well-
the guy who did this is the guy who did the music for this one also did for Tactics.
Oh,
Sadly, not Uematsu. But it's still.
I still
think
love
it's
the
fine.
music for Tactics. I love the music for Tactics. So
Well, 12 is fine too. Honestly, music isn't bad,
Yeah,
but he ain't no Uematsu,
well, yeah, but Uematsu is like
the
the
god of Japanese.
God of music. He's the god of just music in
Song,
general.
yeah.
His some of his music, like Aerith's theme, that was number 3.
Overrated.
and It's oh my god. It was in like the top. There's a official. I'm gonna butcher this. Somebody who way smarter who's got Google right next to them can look it up real quickly. But
What you know about that Libera Fatali?
yeah. The UK essentially has like a top 100 best in the history of classical music or well composed soundtracks, and they've got people like Chopin, Beethoven, et cetera, who are in this list. They've just never been knocked down. Air's theme was up there at rank number 3.
Well, the British have bad taste anyway. So
It's whatever.
What are you gonna say?
You just don't know good things when it hits you in the face.
Birth of a
Point
God is the best track in that game. I don't care what anyone says. I don't care what anybody says.
Anyway, the point is the man's a bloody genius, and I don't think
Yes,
there's
he is.
anybody is gonna.
Anyways, we're
really
not-
outdo him.
We'll have to do Final Fantasy music.
We're gonna
topic
have,
for
yeah, we're
another
gonna have
day.
to talk about that. Sorry, Mal. Sorry.
Anywho, what else? So the original had like a license board. Everyone was on the same board, and you could you buy the licenses to get the ability.
It's the sphere
No.
grid without the sphere.
Yeah, sort of. But they did the international version a few years later that never went internationally.
Is the PAL version.
I don't understand it. Or was it? Okay.
I think
like
so.
we never got it.
Yeah, I know the Japanese got it and the Europeans got it. We never got it.
Okay. We never did. But they had jobs. They made a job system for it instead. And then in this one that has the job system, except now you get 2 jobs. After a certain point, you can choose 2 jobs. It's pretty. I like the system setup, or the.
Yeah, that's the best part of the game.
I got to have everyone has like a melee job and a magic job.
Yeah, because the jobs are. That's what I love about FF5 and FF3 is the job systems. The job system is just one of my favorite, like FF kind of like. It's not really a staple because it's not in every game, but one of the kind of recurring things you'll see across Final Fantasies.
Final Fantasy XI was did the same thing where it had like the dual jobs, and 12 reminds me a lot of like FF11. So
plays
I'm actually
a lot like it too, probably.
Yeah, it does actually. That's why I'm kind of actually really excited to play Zodiac Age with Lily at some point here.
Oh yeah,
yeah. I really want to play the game because I think 12 is great for its certain flaws.
Yeah, they they started on it, and then after a little while of development, they basically got a new director, I think, or something.
Really?
Because originally it was set to be the Knight, not Vaultier. What's his name?
Are you talking about the Sky Pirate?
No.
Oh, Bosch. Guy. Bosch. Captain
Yes.
Bosch von Rosenberg.
He was originally supposed to be the main character.
Oh yeah, I remember this.
Yeah,
I'm Captain Bosch von Rosenberg of Dalmasca.
Right. But I guess higher ups decided to make him switch over to a younger protagonist. Which playing back through, he's not like
he's not even really exactly.
None of the characters really are like front and center.
It's very ensemble.
I like the way they do the story for this one. It feels like the world's going on around you, and you're trying to work your way up to become part of that story. It's very like political and warring nations.
Yeah, it's very Shakespearean, honestly.
Yeah,
the whole like, there's 2 brothers, they look the same, and all this stuff. But
yeah,
I disagree with you there. But go on. That's what. See, I like such strong, like dynamic main characters.
Well,
I love that about Final Fantasy.
I like
that
having
a lot of
a
them
variety.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I don't need every game to be the same. Otherwise, I'd get really bored.
Yeah, but there's like 14 other games that are basically the same, and we like all of them. No, but yeah, that's honestly, that's one of my big faults with the game is that there is no, because I don't find the world and the story honestly that interesting. So I feel, at least from my experience with the game, is that not having like a strong lead. And I honestly thought Balthier could have been that if they'd done more with him. Like, he could have been a really cool, interesting, like, lead character. But they kind of almost play him up as going to be like this. Because he's like, I'm on the center stage. And he has, like, these very quippy, like, lines like that. But then
he calls
he's
himself
very
the leading man.
Yeah, and he's very much that kind of at the beginning. And then he just kind of backs off a little bit.
I don't know if it's any true to this because I never actually looked it up, but I think one of the things was that there was a point during that kind of like transition when they brought in Vaughn and Penelo, or however you say her name.
Oh my god, Penelo is awful.
Where I think the issue was that they were doing some test groups and a lot to the Japanese, and a lot of the Japanese said like it's a good game, but we don't really feel like we have anybody that we can relate to, so we're not sure if we really want to buy that, and that was part of the reason why they brought in Vaughn and Penelo.
Yeah, I thought Ash could have been cool too.
So, wait, what was that?
I thought Ash could have been cool too, but
the princess, she's
I
kind of probably the closest thing they have to a main character.
Yeah, I would agree.
I think that's just part of the reasons, like, because like as you say, that's like something a lot of people say is like it really feels like certain of these characters really should have been like the focus, and that these two kind of could have been pushed off to the side or just kicked off stage in general.
Yeah, I don't need Vaughn or Penelo.
Penelo has no character at all.
No,
she has no drive, no motivation. She just tags along with Vaughn. All Vaughn cares about is being a Sky Pirate. He kind of cares about his brother at first, but then after 30 minutes, he gives no shits anymore.
Yeah.
Whatever happened to your brother?
Who is voiced by Yuri Lowenthal, I'll have you know.
Yep. Your man waifu.
Your man waifu got tossed in the side.
My man crush Monday. Yuri Lowenthal. Husbando.
Yeah. But The game also has an interesting combat system with gambits. You get to basically program each of your characters. I like it.
I hate it.
It cuts down on the micromanaging. Like you do all the managing up front, and then like when you're doing all the combats, you don't have to.
Yeah, I don't like it, but it's kind of an inevitability with the way the game plays out because everything's in real time. They do things. It's almost like kind of in a way, and I guess to compare it to like Final Fantasy 15 in a way, like kind of you go like do this stuff where you're kind of like more aggressive, but it's like even more customizable. It's just like a lot of the kind of gameplay of the game devolves into just setting up your gambits and letting the game go, and that's kind of like how you beat bosses.
It's exactly how it was though, like for 13 and whatnot. Like I really hated that fact.
13's even worse than 12.
Yeah, 13 takes away a lot more control.
Oh yeah, I'm not disagreeing with you, but it's like it's just like it seems like that's just the way things are going, and like it's kind of frustrating because I mean the older games it was really cool to be able to control everybody and decide what.
I mean, you still could. It's just used as a time saver.
Oh, is it?
You can still completely control everyone if you really want to.
Oh shit!
It just becomes extremely cumbersome, and the fights will take like literally like 10 times longer.
It's just easier to set an ability that says, you know, if someone hits 30%, use Cura on them.
Nice. That's okay. That's really good to know. So then they just totally jacked it out of 13 completely.
Yeah, right. But it becomes basically like you put up all the buffs you need for the boss. You have those high priority like stuff to debuff the boss with, and like just basically like fail safes to keep you alive. And then the game basically starts playing itself.
Sort of, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I want to play the game.
Some bosses have like, you know, different conditions, like and the optional bosses like this one they didn't have the normal summons like Ifrit and Shiva. They use that for the airship names, and they have espers that are and a lot of those or at least some of them will do different things with the battles, like no magic, no items.
Yeah.
Cool.
I'll say one thing that really helps the new version, the Zodiac Age, is that it has the fast forward feature.
Oh yeah.
So grinding is not nearly as bad.
Oh yeah.
In the original 12, grinding was awful.
Oh yeah. There was a lot of grinding in 12.
Yeah.
Originally.
And here's my other big complaint about the game, and I mean this kind of happens in a lot of JRPGs, but it feels like it's super obvious in this one to me. In this game, I have 30 hours on my Zodiac Age file. I've spent 20 hours of that just grinding license points.
That's your own fault.
And XP. That's not my complaint. That's not my complaint. Okay. That's fine. That's fine. I actually like grinding in games, so I don't mind. That's fine. I've done all that, and I still hit a brick wall at a certain point where the game, really? I literally just got bodied by something. And
I haven't. It's when you have not done what you've done, and I haven't, had any real issues.
It's when you go into that underground cavern. There's all of a sudden like everything starts doing like 3 different stats effects on you, which is fine. You can deal with it. And then you get out and you fight the second Esper, the wind guy, and the tornado thing.
Oh,
I'm like level 40, and he completely destroys my whole party, and like I can't do anything about it. And I've even like tried messing around with gambits and setting stuff up, but at that point I was just like,
that's an optional cavern. So
the one in the
story.
I thought you had to go there. It's the one in the in the giant the kind of like expanse grassland. You go down into the little cavern, and there's the little unicorn guys.
That's all.
Okay.
Like the guy that has like you fight him with. There's a bunch of zombies, and he has.
That's what I'm talking about. He's optional.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm just an idiot then. Here you
go.
Yeah. But he's. Yeah, I've gotten him. He is kind of hard. I mean, the espers are kind of like I think over half the espers are optional, and they can be kind of hard fights.
Really?
Yep.
Man, that's crazy. I could have swore the game was like, you have to go down this cavern and go through here.
You might need to go to the mines that are near that area, but you need a chocobo.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Which the game tells you, like, gives you a bunch of, like, starts talking about chocobos at that point.
Well, we all know I don't read things.
Right.
Come on.
So. But if you look at 12, I can easily see how, like, 12 gets to 15. Like, being like expanding on the open world.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, the way the hugely political story, the way the combat, it's more actiony, like taking on the combat system. 13.
Let's just not talk about that.
Not a good way to go.
Yeah. That's just not-
13 is like a milquetoast 4 out of 10, like
Whew.
JRPG
Apparently,
of the week.
I've been
It is
told
its
X or
own
13.2 is good, but I have not played it.
13.2 is supposed to be the best one, and I
Yeah.
don't,
hear
I
that they
don't
just
care about
took
playing
all
it.
the good stuff and trashed it for Lightning Returns.
Yep. That's exactly what happened.
Did you play those, Meta?
I did not. I played the first 13, and I went to 13 when there's a short story to this. I'll keep it very sweet. I got 13, and then I saved it at a point. I put it down and was like, I guess I'll play tomorrow. And then about
Never
an
did.
exact year later, I picked it up again, and I was like, I guess I'll finish the game now, finally. I finally did. Got really angry at the game and decided and vowed I would never touch another 13 game again. I heard 13.2 was better, didn't touch it. Then Lightning Returns came out, and they were like, oh, we changed it. It was kind of like this combat action. I was like, well, I'll give it a try because it's a different combat system, but I'm going to wait for the fucking reviews to come out. And they came out, and they're like, it's like you're playing, what was it, that zombie game that you played Frank West in, or whatever?
Oh, God.
You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. It's the Capcom game.
It's the Capcom game, yeah. Anyway,
Dead Rising.
Dead Rising.
Yes, thank
I was
you.
There
like,
you
it
go.
did something. They're all
There's
did
so many
something.
zombie games, whatever.
Ah, I know. It's all blurred now. But anyway, they were like, it's just like that, and I was like, and that's where my game died for it. I was tempted to try the game, but I mean, just after that point, I just thought it was
The people that say 13 is good is they're like, it gets good after the first disc, which is like 30 hours in.
like,
The world
favorite
opens up right at the end of the game.
The fair
Right.
part, my favorite one is when they are all like, but like, if you go read the book that's in the game, you'll understand everything because all the lore's in there. I'm like, why is it not being told to me in the
Yeah.
actual narrative by the characters? Like,
Well, I mean,
In a
They're
Final
literal-
Fantasy game, that's what you
Yeah.
expect.
Yeah, it depends on
in
the
Dark
genre.
Souls, that's what you want. But
yeah,
in
but in
Final
Dark Souls,
Fantasy,
exactly. That's my point. It's like in
Yeah.
Dark Souls, you want it that way. Because
I'm just
it-
saying, like, that can work.
It,
Yeah,
can't-
it just
yeah,
depends
it
on
just
the
didn't
game.
work in this game because you weren't fucking. I mean, the problem is,
When the game's designed around it.
I mean, like the problem was, I was so angry because when I was playing 13, I was like, they're like, we gotta stop this guy, and he's like, I want to die, so you need to kill me. And they're like, we're gonna stop you, and I was like, okay, that makes sense by killing you. What? that's literally what happened. And then it's only when you read the storyline and the extra bits that you finally understand like how it changes because of that. I'm like, it's still dumb.
I never beat it. I got the last boss and was like, I'm done. I'm just not gonna do anymore.
So, okay, let me ask this because I want to keep it at 12 here.
Okay.
Mao, the changes, since you've played both now, you played the original and the new one, right?
Yes.
Okay, so my question for you is this. What is the biggest quality of life change that's not the fast forward button
I was gonna say the
that is in the game?
I mean, there's a
I took your easy
there's
one
a
away.
silly way. There's a silly one, I guess. That is the original game. If you there were the most powerful weapon in the game, the Zodiac Spear, was tied to these random 4 treasure chests that the game doesn't tell you about or anything. And if you open one of those chests, you can't get the spear, and they took that out.
Oh, thank God.
But also the job. I mean, I don't know if the job system's quite a quality of life improvement. I mean, I would say adding the second job would be a quality of life improvement over the international version. But I really enjoy that. I mean, they didn't actually change a whole lot, right? Like this was a remaster, not a remake.
Yeah, it's
Well,
very
I mean,
much the old game.
I mean, I know that, but I was just like saying because there's like even for a remaster, there's a lot of changes. Like taking away the license board and then simply just doing jobs that you level
Well,
up.
the
and-
license board originally changed in the the
in
international.
the international, yeah.
So
We-
that
we
wasn't
did
a
that.
full change over in this.
We didn't get the international, so
Right.
it doesn't count.
But yeah, I mean, you've got the jobs, the soundtrack, the fast forward are like the biggest parts that changed.
And they're all good. They
yeah.
make the game
I mean,
better.
all the changes were good. I mean, and the graphics update.
Yeah, the graphics look
looks
pretty
really
good.
actually.
They look really good.
I
for a
did
PS2
they
game.
was the shading and the lighting any better? Because I played I actually haven't played the game ever. It's one of the few Final Fantasies I have never played, but I've watched like cutscenes on it and I've read up stuff on it, so I've kind of ruined the game for myself. But when playing the PS2 version, and that was actually very recently because Lily played it and picked it up, was playing it for just a little bit because she wanted to show it to a buddy of ours that was visiting and then myself as well. So we were watching the game, and there was a lot of like shading issues. Like there was points where if you walked into a shadow, your character would be like near invisible in that darkness. Have they touched on that stuff as well? Have like obviously it's a graphical update, but like
I would not be the person to ask for that.
I haven't noticed any bad weird stuff, so it's probably fine.
Yeah. Okay.
Also, I like the setting a lot in this one. It's like, I mean, it's. Yeah, Evilise. It's but it's also not the like what is it? 7, 8, 13, 15. There's no like cars, right?
Yeah, there's no modern forms of stuff.
Yeah, like
it's like equivalent to 6.
Yeah,
like tech level was.
Because there are airships, which and then like, but they are mostly owned, I believe, by the
Empire.
Like the Northern Empire, which are more magically advanced, or like because they have like a taxi service, but they're like flying cars run on magic. They don't like it doesn't. They don't borrow on our modern look or whatever. Right.
Don't want cars, guys.
And I actually thought that's another topic for another day. But I actually thought that was a really cool aspect of 15 was how much it looked like our world. But
yeah. I just like it for being different, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean,
it almost reminds me of like you said it best with 6, but it kind of reminds me of 9 as well.
Right.
Yeah.
That's why.
A little more advanced than 9.
A little bit more advanced than 9.
It's a little bit more high tech.
In Evilise,
they got lasers and stuff.
Yeah.
All the others, or all the tactics, and then there's that one sort of game, or not quite canonly, but or it's not the Final Fantasy game. What is it called?
Tactics Advance. Oh yeah, Vagrant Story. Yeah, that's
Vagrant Story. I've seen like speculation maps. They're not all on the same in the same area, right? They're on
there's there's a website called chrysaliswiki.com that specifically goes into trying to figure out the timelines and kind of giving you
I think 12 is the first one.
Yes, 12 starts because in Final Fantasy Tactics specifically, which is there's no Tactics Modern. I will never accept Tactics Advance. But in Final
Snowball
Fantasy...
fights. Snowball fight tutorial.
Oh, why?
I like tech. I mean, I'm pretty easygoing with games, and I like
Tactics Advance as well.
You are dead to me, both of you. But Final Fantasy 12 was the first game, and then you had there was apparently like the Cataclysm in the summoning of the demon, and then Saint Ajora, because Saint Ajora gets also mentioned in 12, and then
I know there are some characters that or a character at least that is in 12 and Tactics Advance.
There might be. I don't know.
It's on the wiki.
Yeah,
ball there, obviously.
But 12 comes first. Then you would lead into Tactics from there, and then there's the
Revenant. You got Revenant Wings. What about Revenant Wings?
I've never played that one.
Never played it. Can't say it. I don't even talk about it. But yeah, so like there's a lot of games that really utilize it. But Evilise is kind of its own world. But
you usually see like desert from Evilise, and then like the what are they? What are lizard people and pig people?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if there's any cataclysmic event that changes the land masses though, because in Tactics it's very based on European design. Like it's a European nation, and the kind of the way the world is set up is European, Africa, and a bit of the Middle East as well. And then fantasized and mishmashed around, but that's really where the basis pulls from Tactics, at least for the world. But then you look at FF12, and you look at like Vagrant Story, and you look at some of the other games, and the land masses are very different, different.
Because basically none of them take place in the same section, so all of the land masses would be different.
Yeah, but it's just kind of weird because they still even though they're not in the same section, they're very time-wise different. But Tactics comes after 12 because Tactics has no flying, but you'll find a lot of stuff. Right. Of like times when airships flew and stuff like that, and then there's obviously just references to Final Fantasy games in general. Like you can find holy materia, and you can find like the black materia to summon meteor and shit. So it's
Yeah,
all,
that's
yeah, and yeah, that's the picture right there. There you
yeah,
go.
that's the overlaying of
See,
the
they're
different
too
game
edgy
maps.
for me.
I
Completely
thought they were
different.
all confirmed connected through Worlds of Final Fantasy.
Oh my god! I was about to answer that seriously for a second. Gosh damn it!
On that note, what's